All that when we come back. The major, probably just happy to be playing football, let alone excelling. Jerrod Henrich had his football season end a little prematurely last year, but he's making up for that this season. Channel 4's Joel Johnson explains.
Here's a sight you don't see too often. Number 24, Jerrod Henrich on the Akron Westfield sideline. You see, when the Westerners have the ball, he's a punishing running back, and on defense, he terrorizes the opponent's quarterback. But to some people, it's amazing he's playing football at all. This is Henrich a year ago, running wild in the Westerners' homecoming matchup against Galen. That night, he ran for 225 yards, his best game ever. But that would be the last game that Jerrod would suit up for that season.
Well, it was about this time a year ago that he ended up with Guillain-Barré syndrome, and he ended up then, 4 or 5 days later, he ended up in St. Luke's Hospital.
Didn't know what to do when I woke up one morning and couldn't get out of bed. So I tried to crawl down the steps. It didn't work very well. I fell down the steps, and my parents came. They took me to the hospital. It was really scary.
Guillain-Barré syndrome can be life-threatening. So when a tragedy like this strikes, it brings both the team and the community closer together.
It's a life-threatening situation, and he nearly died on Thursday. And all of a sudden, the whole outlook of our team, the whole season dramatically changed as the emphasis was not on the game of football, but it was on Jerrod's health.
Well, everybody in the community really pulled together for me. I had a lot of cards. I had a big bag full of cards by the time I left. And I also got the homecoming football, which was a real treat since that was my best game I ever had.
This past Saturday was a year later. The opponent was once again Galen, and Jerrod Henrich was back on the field with his running shoes on. In Lamar's with our Channel 4 Athlete of the Week, Jerrod Henrich. Joel Johnson, Channel 4 Sports.
And Clint Nielsen is one of the reasons that the Westerners have put together an undefeated record and can clinch a conference title as well as a playoff berth with a win Friday over Hinton. But there's more to Nielsen than just football. As Tom Reither recently found out, Nielsen is truly being all that he can be. You heard that saying before somewhere? If you have, we'll put it all together for you tonight at 10. Can be. It's something that just about every coach asks of his players. Akron Westfield head man Craig Parkinson has had good luck at getting senior Clint Nielsen to buy into that theory. And as our Tom Reither recently found out, Parkinson's gain is also Uncle Sam's gain.
On the battlefields of Akron Westfield, Clint Nielsen, number 68, an offensive tackle. He's helped lead the Westerners to a 7-0 record, good enough to be ranked 3rd in the state's Class 1A poll. At practice, Nielsen leads the team through drills. This football season has been good to Clint, unlike last year. As a junior, Clint didn't have a lot of playing time.
He wasn't quite big enough or fast enough or strong enough to play in the offensive line or to play linebacker, outside linebacker in defense, and he was kind of struggling. And
Clint knew something had to be done. Something had to change. But away from the games, away from the practices, away from school, there's another side to Clint that his teammates don't get to see. Last summer, he joined the Army Reserves. After a few weeks of boot camp, Clint became part of the reserve unit in nearby Cherokee.
Before I went to basic training, I was kind of irresponsible, and but it taught me a lot of responsibility and how to get along on my own. And
a summer of training has also helped him on the field, becoming more of a leader.
He's a lot stronger. He leads us in a lot of our conditioning drills, and he's done an excellent job for us this year on the offensive line, and he's become a real factor in the success of our team.
Another reason Clint joined the reserves has to do with his future.
Well, there's a lot of benefits, like for college, and I needed money for college, and I thought it'd be kind of a adventure kind of too. I've always been kind of interested in the Army.
Maybe the Army isn't for everybody, but Clint has used the training and discipline he's learned to make himself a better football player, and more importantly, a better person. In Akron, Tom Reither, Major 9 Sports.